14. Februar 1939. Heute beehrt unser geliebter Führer mit seiner Anwesenheit die Taufe des mächtigsten Schlachtschiffs, das die Welt jemals gesehen hat. 50.000 Tonnen groß, einen halben Meter des härtesten Panzerstahls rund um das Schiff und 8 Geschütze von 42 cm Kaliber machen dieses Schiff in eine unsinkbare Festung. Das Schlachtschiff Bismarck wurde seinen Elementen von der Enkelin des eisernen Kanzlers übergeben. Dieser neue Beweis der deutschen Macht wird der Welt zeigen, dass die deutsche Flotte es mit jedem Feinde aufnehmen kann.
2 years later, the ship was finally ready for action. When she left port in the spring of 1941, she was widely regarded as the most elegant and the most dangerous battleship ever built. She would never return. 1941, Monday, May 19th. The Bismarck leaves German waters on her first mission. What her commanders hope will be a 3-month reign of terror on British shipping in the North Atlantic. She is a monumental weapon, a 1/6 of a mile long, displacing 53,000 tons. Her 15-inch guns are aimed with the help of stereoscopic rangefinders and can hurl a 1-ton shell 20 miles with ease. 1941, Tuesday, May 20th. The Bismarck steams north and west through Danish waters. With her is a heavy cruiser, the Prince Eugen. The German plan is simple, bold, and risky. First, they hope to slip through the narrow waters off Sweden and Norway and break through to the North Sea. If the Bismarck hasn't been detected, it should be no problem to sail into the Atlantic, perhaps through the Denmark Strait.
The enemy ships were sighted coming out of the Baltic. Obviously heading out to sea, obviously not in the service of the King. Now, what have we got over here at Scapa Flow? Battleships King George V, Prince of Wales, battlecruiser Hood, and a few cruisers and destroyers. The rest of the fleet's out on convoy.
Those 2 German ships were sighted off southern Norway at 03:35. One is the Prince Eugen, and we're not sure about the other.
Do you think it...
I suggest you proceed on the worst possible assumption that it's Bismarck and she's trying to break out.
All right.
I may be wrong, but I can't think of anything worse at the moment.
Yes, I quite agree, sir. We can't afford to let that ship get loose in the Atlantic.
I'll come to immediate notice for steam, sir.
All right. Goodbye.
We're directed to assume that it's Bismarck accompanied by Prince Eugen, and they're attempting to break out into the convoy lanes. Now, gentlemen, they'd have 4 available passages, wouldn't they? Here's the Denmark Strait, the passage south of Iceland, the Faroe-Shetland Passage, and the Fair Island Channel between the Orkneys and the Shetlands. Anyone care to place a bet?
Looks like 2 cruisers. That's what the pilot said.
One's a cruiser, all right. The other one's Bismarck.
But the Bismarck is detected. On a sunny Wednesday afternoon, a British Spitfire snaps this photograph, showing the Bismarck nestled in a Norwegian fjord. The report that Bismarck is trying to break out is confirmed. Now, all the Royal Navy has to do is catch her.
They're giving us Victorious and Repulse. So now we can send Hood and Prince of Wales out to support the patrols in the Greenland area. I want them ready to sail within an hour.
Yes, sir. I can have steam in half an hour, sir.
Captain, I want to be out of here in 15 minutes.
Very well, sir.
Signal Prince Eugen.
Very well, sir.
Sir, there's a signal from the Commander-in-Chief Home Fleet. An aircraft from Hadston has got through to Grimstad. There's nothing there now, sir. Nothing at all.
Well, they've sailed. At least we know that much. Now we can get moving. Now, sir. Over here, we have the Hood and the Prince of Wales. They left Scapa Flow 40 hours ago. Here, we have the Repulse, the aircraft carrier Victorious, and the King George V. They've been steaming for approximately 18 hours. In this area, the cruisers Arethusa, Manchester, Birmingham. In the Denmark Strait, the cruisers Suffolk and Norfolk. As you can see, sir, our cruiser screen is spread out much too thinly. Now, if your people could get into the air...
Can't fly reconnaissance missions in weather like this, you know.
We realize that, of course, sir. We must assume that the Bismarck, in company with the Prince Eugen, is going to attempt a breakthrough to the North Atlantic. But we don't know where, and we don't know when. If it's here, or here, then the Repulse and the Victorious and the KG-5 will have to do the job. If it's here, in the Denmark Strait, then the Hood and the Prince of Wales will have to go after her.
On Friday, May 23rd, the battleship is spotted by a patrolling British cruiser as she prepares to pass through the narrow strait between Greenland and Iceland. 250 miles away, the British warships Prince of Wales and Hood are alerted. They begin steering a course to intercept Bismarck before she reaches open water.
Ship bearing green 4-5!
2 ships bearing green 4-5!
Hard port, full ahead both.
Hard port, full ahead both, sir. Shall we follow them, sir?
Steady on 130.
Steady on 130.
Yeoman.
Sir.
Make to Admiralty. Bismarck and cruiser sighted. Course south. My position. Give latitude and longitude. Get that off immediately in case we run into trouble.
Aye, sir.
Check radar.
Check your radar block.
Enemy report from Suffolk, sir.
They've found her. Picked her up in the Denmark Strait. Bismarck in a heavy cruiser.
6645 north, 26 west.
There, gentlemen. Course southwest.
Now things are looking up.
Tell the first Sea Lord immediately.
Aye, sir.
It's a good job we've got some heavy stuff in the area. Richards, let me have an intercepting course for Hood and Prince of Wales.
Yes, sir. Sir, this one's from the Norfolk.
Norfolk's there too, sir. She's with Suffolk. They're shadowing in thick fog using radar.
I hope that radar works better than usual. If she decided to turn on them, she could blow them both out of the water.
No, Lutyens is too clever for that. He'd rather shake off a pair of cruisers than stop to sink them.
Course to intercept Bismarck is 310. That'll bring Hood in contact just about there.
Just about here, sir. The intercepting course is 310 degrees. At full speed, we should make contact at 0300.
I don't want to engage them until daylight. Give me a course and speed to intercept at dawn.
Chief Home Fleet, sir. Suffolk and Norfolk will continue shadowing tonight. They will make no attempt to engage the enemy.
Right. Make to Hood and Prince of Wales. If enemy maintains present course and speed, you should make contact approximately 0510.
Right, sir.
And Dexter?
Yes, sir?
Add to that. Good luck.
Very good, sir.
Hood and Prince of Wales are somewhere in here. Suffolk and Norfolk report Bismarck and Prince Eugen here. If so, we shouldn't have long to wait.
Should be getting light up there now.
Signal from Suffolk, sir. Have sighted Hood and Prince of Wales, bearing southeast, distance 15 miles.
That means they've made it. Good old Hood, she'll get them.
Leading the attack will be the largest ship in the British fleet.
Now, the Hood was the epitome of everything that was marvellous about the Royal Navy before the war. She was a wonderful ship. She was built during the First World War, and unfortunately she had very poor armour, very lightly covered armour on her decks, and she shouldn't have been there, unarmoured as she was.
Rich. Smoke bearing green 40, sir. Bismarck and cruiser bearing green 40, about 12 miles. Closing fast.
Those are not cruisers, they are battleships. Captain, open fire on the leading ship.
Target leading ship. Stand by to open fire.
Target leading ship. Stand by to open fire. Hard port.
Open fire when you have the range. Concentrate on Bismarck.
Aye, sir. Let me know when you're ready to engage guns, and then we'll turn.
Aye, sir.
Tell Prince of Wales to open fire when she's in range.
Aye, sir.
Hard to starboard.
Shoot! Range 25,000, bearing 300. All turrets ready to open fire, sir.
Open fire. Fire! Fire!
That was too close for comfort. Turn 20 degrees to starboard, Captain.
Shoot!
Fire!
What happened? The hood's gone.
Saturday morning, May 24th. The two Titans spot each other. At a distance of about 14 miles, the hood opens fire. Bismarck responds with a series of salvos. Bismarck's shells penetrates the hood's thinly armored decks and ignites her aft powder magazines. The resulting firestorm rips the hood in half. In less than 10 minutes of battle, the hood is gone. Only 3 men from a crew of 1,400 survive.
When this news was received in England, it was received with the greatest shock. It was as much of a shock to us in England as Pearl Harbor was to America. We couldn't believe that a ship which epitomized the Royal Navy and all our successes in the past could end within a few minutes, could end her life. And people said, well, what next? I mean, if the Bismarck can sink the hood in 6 minutes, what else can she do?
Signal from Prince of Wales, huh?
73 degrees, speed 6 3/4 knots.
Well, what is it?
It says HMS Hood has blown up.
Bring it here.
Signal from Suffolk, sir. Hood sunk. Prince of Wales and Bismarck exchanging fire.
Fire!
Very good, course 240.
Fire!
Give me a hand!
Tier 150! Make smoke!
She's badly damaged, sir. She's turning away and making smoke. Do you want to pursue?
No. You wanted the damage control report, sir.
What is it?
We received one hit, forward on the port side, over number 2 fuel tank. We are losing a little oil.
Anything serious?
No, sir. I would say the damage is very slight. However, I would recommend we put about.
This is Bismarck's latest position, course, and speed. Send it to the C&C Home Fleet right away. Now, Shepard.
At its present speed, sir, the Home Fleet cannot make contact with Bismarck until tomorrow. And then only if she maintains her present course.
What if she doesn't maintain her present course?
That's it exactly, sir. They won't make contact at all.
Prime Minister for you, sir.
First Sea Lord here.
And our first Sea Lord. I want to make it unmistakably clear that there is absolutely nothing as vital to the nation at this moment as the destruction of the Bismarck. You are authorized to employ any means at your disposal, regardless of risk and regardless of the price that must be paid. This is a battle we cannot afford to lose.
I understand, sir.
I don't care how you do it. You must sink the Bismarck.
Well, gentlemen, any suggestions?
In my opinion, sir, we cannot leave this entirely to the Home Fleet. We must reach out and pull in everything we can lay our hands on.
I've ordered Rodner to leave her convoy. She was the last available ship.
I don't suggest this lightly, sir. Down here at Gibraltar, we've Force H. Renown, Sheffield, Ark Royal.
I can't strip the Western Mediterranean with this Crete business going on. Perhaps if we left Ark Royal down there and sent the other two out.
No, sir. We may need Ark Royal's aircraft.
Bismarck holds her present course and speed. When's the earliest we can engage her?
9 o'clock tomorrow morning, sir, at best possible speed.
If Norfolk and Suffolk can keep track of her, they can guide us in. Suppose Bismarck gives them the slip.
Well, if she shakes off those cruisers during the night, if we once lose contact, we may never get hold of her again.
She's got the weather on her side, sir. Looks very bad for tonight.
Yes, we've got to try and slow her down before nightfall. Summers, do you think Victorious could launch an airstrike?
Signal Prince Eugen that she's to proceed on our course and make for Brest.
Yes, sir.
We will keep the enemy cruisers occupied until Prince Eugen is out of sight. All right, Captain, you can make your turn.
Hard port!
Hard port, fire!
Stand by to open fire!
Radar plot, range decreasing. Decreasing very rapidly. Range down to 22,000 yards.
She's double back on us, sir. There she is, sir.
Hard port, full ahead both.
Hard port.
Make smoke.
Make smoke. Full ahead both.
Signal to Prince Eugen. Goodbye and good hunting. That's all, Baker.
Very good, sir.
Cease fire, Captain.
Cease fire.
Cease fire, sir.
Signal to Group West. Prince Eugen, successfully detached and proceeding independently. Have been unable to shake off enemy cruisers because of radar. Will attempt to break away during the night.
There she is, starboard beam.
Los, mal schnell da! Schnell, schnell!
Hard starboard!
One hit from the port bow, sir.
What is the damage?
Very slight, sir, and no one wounded. We will have the damage repaired in a few hours.
That is good. That is good. Lindemann.
Yes, sir?
If there were submarines in this area, we would zigzag, wouldn't we?
Of course, sir.
And the cruisers following us would be obliged to do the same.
Yes, sir, but I would...
Captain, I want you to set a zigzag pattern. Hold speed at 20 knots. In exactly 2 hours, we shall stop zigzagging and proceed at full speed in whatever direction we are headed. We will be out of radar range before they realize that they have lost us.
From Norfolk, sir.
Yes? What is it?
Sir, they've lost contact with Bismarck.
This is her last known position. And this, her farthest on. That means she has to be somewhere inside that circle. In this sector, search aircraft from Victorious. To the south and west, the cruisers Suffolk and Norfolk. That leaves two possibilities. Either she's broken back to Germany, or she's headed for one of the French ports. Now, Miss Davis, if you were Bismarck, what would you do?
Well, I suppose I'm not very brave. I'd head for home, sir.
Uh-huh. And a very sensible thing to do, too. Plenty of fuel, good repair facilities, complete protection. But not Lutyens, or any other German fleet commander.
Why not?
Because in Nazi Germany, he'd lose face. I've fought these people before. They have to prove their superiority every day. That's their one tremendous weakness.
Sir?
Yes?
Signal from the Commander-in-Chief.
King George V's running short of fuel. Can't maintain full speed much longer. Supposing she is heading for a French port. Won't be long before she gets friendly submarine support and complete air cover. Too late to stop her then. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau at Brest. Supposing Bismarck joins up with them, and all three of them decide to come out together. What then?
The flying boat spotted Bismarck at 1030 and has been shadowing ever since using cloud cover. From time to time, Bismarck has put up very heavy anti-aircraft fire.
Now the British know where we are. They'll send out everything they have.
We can sink anything they send out. What was your latest fuel report?
We have lost about 200 tons from the tanks that were damaged. We have 35% left.
That is more than enough. I want to check the plot.
Becker.
Yes, sir?
Keep me informed about the fuel situation.
Well, sir.
I've requested air cover from the Luftwaffe. How soon can we expect them to be with us?
Shore-based aircraft can operate approximately that far from the coast, sir. We will arrive at that point about dawn tomorrow.
What about King George and Rodney? What is their position now?
Based on reports from Group West, I have them plotted 200 miles to the north of us, sir.
Here are the fuel consumption reports for KG5 and Rodney, sir. As close as I can calculate.
Don't look too good, do they?
No, sir.
They're 140 miles astern of Bismarck. Can they steam at full speed long enough to overtake her?
If they did, sir, they wouldn't have enough fuel to get home.
Sir?
By daylight tomorrow, Bismarck will be in range of German air cover. They'll send out the whole Luftwaffe to bring her in.
And a line of U-boats as well.
What we have to do is slow her down by tonight so home fleet can overtake her before she gets into friendly waters.
Well, Renown and Sheffield can't do it. That leaves Ark Royal.
10 hours of daylight left. Call it 9.5. There's time to get off one airstrike anyway. With luck, they might get off two.
Yes, sir. We better get in touch with Ark Royal.
Saturday, May 24th, 1941. 1 hour after sinking the Hood, the Bismarck's commanders decide to return the ship to occupied France to repair damage suffered in the battle. But Bismarck is being shadowed by 3 British warships while another battle group moves into position for an ambush. Aboard the Bismarck, the officers decide the time is ripe to lose their pursuers.
And then came this dramatic event in the middle of the night when the captain of the Bismarck put the wheel hard as starboard and did a tremendous loop right out to the west and right back, crossed his own track, crossed the track of the Prince of Wales and the cruisers that were following him, and disappeared.
Bismarck's maneuver takes the British completely by surprise. While they search 100 miles to the north, the Bismarck sails closer and closer to safety. 31 hours pass as the distance between Bismarck and the ships frantically looking for her widens. Then, on Monday morning, there is a sudden change in the fortunes of war. A Catalina flying boat, cruising just below the low-hanging clouds, spots a dull black shape on the choppy seas. It is the Bismarck. She is less than a day's sail from the protection of Luftwaffe bombers stationed in France. Most of the British ships are well to the northwest, while others lie south, all too far away to catch up. Only one ship has a chance to slow the Bismarck down before she reaches port, the aircraft carrier Ark Royal. But the Ark Royal is less than an ideal weapon to pit against the Bismarck. Her aging swordfish torpedo planes have wings made of fabric, an attack speed of less than 100 miles an hour, and carry only one torpedo apiece. Yet they are the only weapon the British have left. If the swordfish can't slow the Bismarck down, she'll be in friendly waters by morning. With night closing in, the tiny swordfish race across the darkening skies. At 8:53 p.m., they spot the Bismarck and attack.
Sheffield has been detached from the flagship, sir. She's ordered to close Bismarck and shadow her.
How long ago?
This was sent an hour and a half ago, sir.
An hour and a half?
It wasn't decoded immediately, sir, because it wasn't addressed to us. We just happened to pick it up, sir.
Our pilots have orders to attack any ship alone in that area. Get down below and send a message to all aircraft. Look out for Sheffield. Send it in plain language and get it off immediately.
Aye, aye, sir.
Bit of a cock-up somewhere.
It's the Bismarck, all right.
It's all right, they're ours. Swordfish. Sounds like they're going to fly right over us, sir. They're using our position to get their bearings. I can see them now, sir. There they are. They're attacking us.
Full ahead, both. Hard aport.
Full ahead, both.
All guns, hold your fire.
Aye, aye, sir.
Torpedo exploded and hit the water, sir. There's another one. They're exploding short. What's the matter with them? It's those damn magnetic exploders. Here comes one that didn't explode, sir. Harder starboard.
Harder starboard.
That was the Sheffield, sir. Just came through from the carrier.
Signal the other aircraft. Tell them to break off the attack.
Wheel amidships.
Wheel amidships, sir.
I'd just say that we've learnt a very important lesson, which may well prove a blessing in disguise. All right, let's get on with the job. There's still enough light for one more attack. Think you're up to it?
Yes, but what about those magnetic exploders?
They're being changed at this moment. We'll go back to contact exploders on the torpedoes.
Keep your seats, gentlemen. I have a message here from the Commander-in-Chief. Unless the enemy's speed has been reduced by midnight, King George V will have to abandon the chase and turn back for refueling. There's no need to tell you what that means. This is our last chance, gentlemen.
This is it, boys! Come on, let's go!
Out to starboard!
The hit was on the armor plate amidships. No serious damage, sir.
Thank you, Miller. The damage control will keep us informed.
Yes, sir.
Out to starboard!
Captain, hit in the steering compartment, sir.
Put your rudder amidships.
Rudder amidships. The rudder won't move, sir.
43 north, 09 degrees.
What ships are these?
Fourth destroyer flotilla, sir.
They're getting close. We picked up two very peculiar reports from Coastal Command following the attack by Ark Royal. The first one says Bismarck circling. The second one reads Bismarck headed nor-northwest.
Nor-northwest? But that's impossible, sir. Should be headed straight for KG5 and Rodney.
It sounds like faulty identification. Wrong ship, most likely.
Sir, signal from Sheffield. They made contact with Bismarck. She's steering north at 10 knots.
Well, that's incredible. It must be Bismarck.
But what's she doing on that course and at a speed of 10 knots?
Hit by a torpedo, I'll bet. And damaged.
Propellers?
Could be, sir. Or rudder and can't maneuver.
They came in the evening, in the twilight. The sea was rough when we opened fire. We shot and shot, but what good did it do? We fired so much our gun barrels had to be cooled down. One of the swordfish torpedoes hits Bismarck amidships, causing minor damage. But another strikes the battleship in the only place she is vulnerable, her rudders. Bismarck's steering gear jams. Now she can only move in one direction, northwest, directly toward the onrushing British fleet.
We couldn't understand it when we got a signal from the Ark Royal and the Sheffield saying course of Bismarck is now due north, when up to that point it had been due south, or at least southeast. And we thought they made a mistake. It's very easy when you see a ship in the distance in the haze. It's awfully uncertain whether it's going from left to right or right to left. And we thought, oh, they made a mistake, silly little thing. They should know better than that. And then when it was repeated 2 or 3 times, we suddenly realized that the Bismarck had been delivered into our hands.
Tuesday, May 27th, between midnight and dawn. Over a dozen British warships close on the crippled Bismarck, waiting for first light to deliver the final blow. They know their quarry is wounded, but no one can guess how badly.
At about midnight or shortly after, the conclusion had to be drawn. It was impossible to do useful repair and was just given up, and next morning had to be waited.
Wir haben beim Geschütz unsere Mahlzeiten eingenommen.
We ate our meals at our guns. There was no more warm food, just bread with something on it. And once we had boiled potatoes. And we stayed at our guns the whole time.
Und so weiter. Und dann, man hat sich eben nur am Geschütz aufgehalten.
And this was perhaps the most difficult, the most dreadful part of the entire operation, as far as I remember. The certainty, you could not escape anymore, you couldn't do anything, and you could probably not do anything equal up to the battle that would be shaping up next morning. That was like a sentence of death.
Tuesday, May 27th. 2 hours after sunrise, the Rodney and King George V finally spot the Bismarck emerging from a rain squall. Battle stations are called. At 8:47 a.m., the British warships open fire.
The thing that struck me when the battle started was all the colour contrasts. The Bismarck was black, the British ships were grey, the seas were green with the wind creaming the tops, creamy tops. There was the brown of the cordite when the guns fired on both sides. There was these brown puffs of cordite smoke. And then there was the flash, the orange flash of the guns. And then these enormous shell splashes, high as houses, white as shrouds. And it was majestic. It was a majestic scene. It was an awesome scene. And I can see it today as clearly as I saw it then.
For 1 full hour, the relentless British salvos continue.
Yes. It's the Bismarck, all right. Yeoman?
Sir.
Make to Solent. Intend to attack with torpedoes. Ships turning to port. Firing range 4,000 yards.
Aye, sir.
Bring on 30 knots.
300 revolutions.
From Captain D, sir. Speed 30 knots. Turning to port to fire torpedoes. Firing range 4,000 yards.
Good, then it is the Bismarck. Damage control.
Damage control. Damage control, sir.
Captain speaking. I want a report on that rudder.
The divers are down now. They'll be up in a moment, sir.
Range 6,000 yards, sir.
Yes. I see. It's impossible to free the rudder, sir. It was jammed too badly, that explosion.
Range 4,000 yards, sir.
Port 20. Fire when the sights come on.
2 enemy destroyers on port bow, sir. Alarm port. Alarm port, sir.
Range 4,000, bearing 300 degrees.
Guns ready, port. Guns ready, port, sir. Illuminate with star shell. Illuminate with star shell.
They've seen us. Now we're for it.
20 degrees to go, sir. Fire! All torpedoes gone, sir.
Let's get out of here. Hard a port.
Hard a port.
Open fire, main armament.
Torpedo hit amidship, sir.
Good man.
Fire!
top the Solent.
Good shooting, Lindemann.
Cease firing! Cease firing!
One hit on the armor near the forward boiler room. The damage can be repaired and it won't affect our speed, sir.
Thank you.
Destroyers are still shadowing, sir. They've orders to keep track of the Bismarck until the home fleet closes. They claim 3 hits with torpedoes. It hasn't even slowed her down.
What about the reports of enemy submarines?
ACNS says these have been confirmed. I've notified the Commander-in-Chief.
What's CNC doing about it?
He hasn't altered his plans.
I'd like to send him a signal telling him to be careful, but I'm sure he'd resent it. Signal for Captain Shepard.
I'll take it.
It's from King George V. What is it? They've sighted Bismarck, sir.
Oh, here comes the main event.
Agent signals.
How much fuel have we got left?
Should have to break off action in 2 hours.
Main armament ready. Enemy speed 10 knots. Course 350, sir.
They outnumber us 2 to 1, and we can't do more than 10 knots.
Open fire, Captain.
Open fire! Fire!
Open fire!
Shoot! Fire!
She's hit. Good shooting, Captain.
Shoot!
She plunged in the sea. The plates on her port bow, extending over a large area, were red hot as she came out, and then when she went into the sea, the cloud of steam. Und wie das da aussah, mir ist beinahe schlecht geworden, wie ich das gesehen habe, ja. Berge von Toten.
What I saw made me sick. There were mountains of dead people, in pieces. There was one crazy man still at his gun, still firing.
An einer Flakkanone, da schoss noch einer. Jetzt das Ganze.
Ammunition was exploding.
Das brannte alles.
The entire upper deck was on fire. It looked like a heap of rubble. The beauty of the ship was gone.
Von der Schönheit des Schiffes war nichts mehr, ja?
Then eventually we saw men trickling down, running down the quarterdeck, and then jumping into the sea, because it was all over, it was finished. It was a dreadful sight, you know. No sailor likes to see another ship sunk, even if it's an enemy.
This piece of film, showing the Bismarck burning on the far horizon, is the last view of the battleship before she began to sink.
Ja, und ich überlegte, was machen. Hier bin ich nicht mehr nötig.
I thought about what to do. I was no longer needed. What good is anti-aircraft in a sea battle? And you're almost out of ammunition.
Und wo sollte ich noch hin? Dann bin ich mit rausgegangen.
So I left with some others and we drifted away from the Bismarck on a lifeboat.
Mit dem Schlauchboot nachher entfernt vom Bismarck. The Admiral decided the only way to sink was to torpedo. So we went in close and fired our torpedoes. And then we watched her sink.
Signal from King George V, sir. Bismarck on fire amidships, turf turrets out of action.
Right.
I thought I'd be cheering, sir, at this point, but I'm afraid I can't.
I know, it's always that way.
Shoot!
Wir kommen hier noch durch. Mein Haus stirbt. Rein in die Flammen. Viel zu heiß.
Hoffman, we have to fire the forward magazines. Get the men out.
They can't get out, sir. They're trapped by the fires.
There's too much danger of blowing up. Flood them.
What about the men?
I gave an order, Hoffman. Fly the forward magazines.
Flood the forward magazines.
Our fuel state is critical, sir.
Get closer, get closer. We've got to finish her now.
Shoot!
All guns out of action, except A turret, sir.
Where is your Luftwaffe now, sir?
I don't understand it. The Führer promised us. He will be along any minute now. Who is he?
He was proud of that. Tomorrow the world. He said that only yesterday.
He was right.
Sir, all the officers on the bridge are dead. I have to tell you that all the guns are finished.
Finished.
Tell the men to abandon ship! Abandon ship! Abandon ship!
We've got her. She's finished.
The Dorsetshire has joined us, sir.
Tell Dorsetshire, finish her off with torpedoes.
Aye, aye, sir. Cease firing! Cease firing!
She's going. Yeoman,
Sir.
tell Dorsetshire to stand by to pick up survivors.
Aye, aye, sir.
Jenkins?
Sir.
Make to Admiralty. Bismarck is sunk. Fleet is returning to Scarborough Flow.
Aye, aye, sir.
This churning sea full of oil, and I relate to that as a scene. How awful that would be.
We were ordered to go and rescue them in the ship I was in. So we came up slowly to them and tried to pull them up the ship's side on ropes.
I remember a story that spread right away on the Dorsetshire. A British seaman saw a German sailor who had no arms trying to swim. So he climbed down into the sea and fastened a rope around the man's body.
I reached one of the ropes to help them pull the survivor up, and then we noticed that he had both his arms shot off and was holding the rope with his teeth. And he fell off just as we got him to the upper deck. And I went over the side to tie bowline around him, so I did that, then I lost him.
For those of us on the Dorsetshire, the name Joe Brooks means something. Our government should give that man a medal for humaneness. The Bismarck survivors had been in the water over an hour when the British cruiser Dorsetshire arrives to pull them from the sea. The rescue effort has hardly begun when the Dorsetshire's captain gets a report that a German U-boat has been spotted. In an action that remains controversial to this day, he orders a retreat. The question runs through my head all the time. Why did Captain Martin stop the rescue while so many hundreds of men were still in the water? I can only interpret it as an act of revenge for what happened to the Hood, which sank with all her crew except for the 3 men who were rescued.
Hardy had been taken underneath on board the Dorsetshire, but I felt by the vibrations of the ship that she had gone with utmost speed, and I had been one of the last to be rescued without ever having a notion of it so far. It was a terrible thing. The water round Dorsetshire's stern foamed and bubbled with the sudden exertion of the screws. Slowly, then faster, the ship moved ahead. Bismarck survivors who were almost on board were bundled over the guardrails onto the deck. Those halfway up the ropes found themselves trailing astern, hung on as long as they could against the forward movement of the ship, dropped off one by one. Others in the water clawed frantically at the paintwork as the sides slipped by. In Dorsetshire they heard the thin cries of hundreds of Germans who had come within an inch of rescue, had believed that their long ordeal was at last over, cries that the British sailors, no less than survivors already on board, would always remember. From the water, Bismarck's men watched appalled as the cruiser's grey sides swept past them. Believed then that tales they'd heard about the British not caring much about survivors were true after all. Presently found themselves alone in the sunshine on the empty, tossing sea. And during the day, as they floated about the Atlantic with only lifebelts between them and eternity, the cold came to their testicles and hands and feet and heads, and one by one they lost consciousness, and one by one they died.
One of the German sailors rescued by the Dorsetshire dies the following day and is buried at sea. The chaplain was there with some British crewmen, and we stood across from them, face to face, just staring at each other, not sure what was happening.
Der Kommandant hat gesprochen. Das militärische Signal, ich glaube, es war
Then we heard a military signal, and I realized it was a funeral for my friend.
Und dann hat sich einer von meinen Kameraden eine Mundharmonika geliehen. Und
one of us borrowed a harmonica and played Ich hatte einen Kamerad. I once had a comrade. The British had tears in their eyes, just like us. He had stood next to me. He had marched by my side.
Er stand an meiner Seite. Das war es nicht auch nicht. Er ging an meiner Seite.
It is sometimes difficult.
Wenn man immer wieder daran erinnert wird.
To be reminded all the time.
Ich kann vielleicht das nicht verstehen, aber
It's hard to explain.
einen Tag freut man sich und auf der anderen Seite
On one hand, you're glad you survived.
wird man immer wieder in die Vergangenheit reingerissen.
But then you're pulled back into the past again.